Why do some people in their 70s look vibrant, strong, and full of life, while others the same age appear a decade older, worn down by time? This isn't about vanity. It's about what your appearance reveals beneath the surface. Because often, looking older is the body's way of sounding an alarm. Not just about your skin or posture, but about something deeper, something happening inside your cells, your heart, your mind.
What if the way you age had less to do with genetics than you think? What if your daily choices, small, seemingly harmless habits, were quietly accelerating your biological clock? The truth is, many people over 60 are unknowingly making decisions
that age them faster, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. And the worst part, these aging accelerators are easy to miss. They're baked into routines, encouraged by culture, reinforced by decades of repetition. But here's the good news. There's a pattern among people who defy the norm. Seniors who, despite their age, stay sharp, energetic, and youthful, inside and out. In this video, we'll reveal the hidden reasons why some people look and feel 10 years older, and the powerful science-backed shifts that can reverse the trend. You'll meet two individuals with the same number of birthdays, but completely different outcomes. Their choices over time created opposite results, and their stories might just change how you see your own path forward. If you stay with me until the end, you'll not only recognize the signs that you or someone you love may be aging too quickly, you'll also discover practical steps to restore vitality, protect your mind, and potentially add healthy years to your life. So ask yourself, do you want to look and feel your true age? Or do you want to live like someone who's mastered the art of longevity? Let's start with something many people overlook. Aging alone isn't just about who's around your dinner table. It's about what's happening inside your body. Social withdrawal, often dismissed as a natural part of getting older, is actually one of the most dangerous forces quietly undermining longevity. And it doesn't always look like isolation. Sometimes it looks like comfort, like routine, like silence. Frank didn't intend to become isolated. It happened slowly. After retirement, his phone rang less. Friends moved, some passed away. His children live in other states. At first he enjoyed the solitude, but over time the house got quieter, and so did his mind. He stopped initiating calls, he declined invitations, and eventually the days blurred together. He started feeling more tired, more forgetful, more anxious. The decline wasn't just emotional, it was biological. Because when the brain senses isolation, it activates a stress response. Cortisol levels rise, inflammation increases, immune function drops. Even the risk of heart disease, stroke, and dementia climbs. Studies from institutions like Harvard and the NIH confirm this. Chronic loneliness can shorten your life as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Eleanor, on the other hand, knows that connection is a form of medicine. She doesn't rely on chance to stay socially active. She creates structure. Weekly tea with friends, volunteering at the local library. Regular calls with her grandchildren. She understands that relationships are not luxuries in later life. They are lifelines. Her social ties help regulate her emotions. They protect her memory. They even reduce her risk of cognitive decline. Brain scans show that people who stay socially engaged have more preserved gray matter and better neural connectivity as they age. The difference is not about being extroverted or having a large circle. It's about consistency, intentional contact, moments of shared laughter, a voice on the other end of the line that reminds you you're still needed. Now, moving to The second factor that silently affects longevity: there's a quiet danger in stillness. Not the peaceful kind found in meditation or rest, but the kind that seeps into your days, unnoticed, disguised as comfort. Frank's life is filled with motionlessness. He wakes up, sits for breakfast, moves to the couch, stays there for hours. A short walk to the mailbox is often the extent of his physical activity. He tells himself he's earned this rest, that aging means slowing down. But his body hears a different message: decay. Because when muscles go unused, they shrink. When joints stop moving, they stiffen. When the heart isn't challenged, it weakens. Studies show that long periods of sitting are directly linked to higher risks of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and premature death, even in people who exercise occasionally. Frank has begun to notice this. He struggles with stairs, loses balance more easily, feels winded after minor exertion. His world is getting smaller, not from illness, but from inactivity. Eleanor, meanwhile, treats movement like nourishment. It's not about intense exercise, it's about frequency. She walks daily, tends her garden, stretches in the morning. She doesn't go to the gym, but she moves her body with intention. And the science supports her approach. Regular low-impact movement increases circulation, boosts brain function, and supports the lymphatic system, which is vital for immunity. It also strengthens the mind-body connection, helping to prevent falls and maintain independence. Her joints stay flexible. Her posture remains upright. Her gait is steady and confident. Movement keeps her world open. The truth is, the body adapts to what we ask of it. Ask it to rest all day, and it will become good at resting. Ask it to move, and it will keep you capable for years to come. This isn't about exercise. It's about aliveness. Motion is a faux signal to your body that life is still unfolding. Another habit that often gets ignored is the quiet invasion of sugar into the aging body. It's not always the obvious kind. Frank doesn't eat candy or drink soda, but his freezer is full of processed meals. His morning cereal is labeled heart healthy, but loaded with added sweeteners. His afternoon snack, a flavored yogurt, contains more sugar than a donut. He rarely tastes sweetness, but his body is drowning in it, and the effects are visible. Sugar triggers a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in the body, damaging collagen, weakening blood vessels, and accelerating skin aging. Over time, it stiffens arteries, fuels inflammation, and disrupts insulin response, even in people who aren't diabetic. Frank's face looks tired, his energy crashes mid-morning, and he often feels mentally foggy. He doesn't connect these symptoms to food, but inside, sugar is silently speeding up his aging. Eleanor sees food differently. She doesn't count calories. She reads ingredients. She avoids anything with added sugars or unpronounceable additives. Her meals are simple: vegetables, legumes, whole grains, herbs, and natural fats. If she wants something sweet, she bakes it herself, using honey or fruit. And the difference shows. Her skin looks smoother. Her energy stays steady. Her mind is alert well into the evening. She isn't dieting. She's nourishing. Every bite she takes is a message to her body. I'm taking care of you. Science backs her up. Research from institutions like the Mayo Clinic shows that high-sugar diets are directly linked to increased risks of Alzheimer's, metabolic syndrome, and inflammatory diseases. Reducing sugar intake doesn't just help with weight, it literally slows the biological aging process. Frank feels like his body is betraying him, but in truth, it's responding exactly as expected to what he's feeding it. Every meal is a decision about how fast you age or how well you live. Here's the fourth behavior that slowly undermines your health. It begins subtly. A little boredom, a little fatigue, a slow retreat into passive routines. But over time, this stillness of the mind becomes a sinkhole, and it swallows vitality whole. Frank spends hours each day watching television. He tells himself it helps him relax. But the truth is, it fills the space that used to challenge his mind. No books, no puzzles, no curiosity. Just flickering screens and forgettable dialogue. And it shows. He struggles to recall recent conversations. Words feel just out of reach. He forgets why he walked into a room. These small lapses frustrate him, but he chalks it up to getting older. What he doesn't know is that the brain, like the body, needs resistance to stay strong. Without stimulation, neural pathways weaken. Mental flexibility declines. Risk of cognitive disorders increases. Passive habits, like excessive television, are linked to a measurable drop in brain volume over time, according to studies published in JAMA Psychiatry and by researchers at University College London. Eleanor, meanwhile, feeds her mind with purpose. She reads every morning, not just novels but biographies, history, science. She journals before bed. She learned basic Spanish during the pandemic, just to keep her mind fresh. She plays memory, games with her grandkids, and discusses current events with friends. Her memory remains clear. Her conversations are sharp. She often connects ideas others miss. And while she sometimes forgets things, like any human being, she rebounds quickly. Mental engagement doesn't mean taking classes or solving equations. It means staying curious, seeking new input, creating, reflecting, asking questions. Eleanor treats her mind like a muscle. Frank, unknowingly, is letting his atrophy. A passive mind accelerates aging not just in memory, but in mood, resilience, and identity. An active mind, on the other hand, continues to grow at any age. Up next, the fifth sign that many people dismiss. It's easy to underestimate the power of sleep, especially in later life. But sleep isn't just about rest. It's when the body repairs, the brain resets, and your health either rebuilds or unravels. Frank's sleep is a mess. He stays up late watching television, falls asleep on the couch, then wakes up groggy at 3 a.m. He naps during the day when he feels drained, which makes it harder to sleep at night. His schedule is erratic and his energy is uneven. He complains about memory lapses, rising blood pressure, mood swings, and weight gain, but doesn't connect any of it to his fractured nights. What Frank doesn't realize is that poor sleep accelerates aging at a cellular level. During deep sleep, the brain clears out toxins, including beta amyloid, the protein linked to Alzheimer's. Muscles repair. Hormones rebalance. Immune function strengthens. But when sleep is shallow, irregular, or interrupted, these systems break down. Eleanor, by contrast, protects her sleep like it's sacred. She follows a calming nighttime routine. No screens. After 8 p.m., a warm cup of herbal tea. Dim lights, gentle stretching. Her bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. She goes to bed and wakes at the same time every day, even on weekends. The result? She wakes up refreshed. Her thoughts are clearer. Her appetite is stable. She has fewer aches, fewer colds, and greater emotional resilience. Science confirms her choices. Studies from Stanford and the CDC show that adults who consistently get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep have lower risks of heart disease, depression, and early cognitive decline. Good sleep isn't a luxury, it's a biological necessity. Frank thinks sleep is just about being tired or not. Eleanor knows it's one of the most powerful forms of medicine available, free, daily, and deeply restorative. As we move forward, there's a sixth pattern that deserves attention. It's not about diet or exercise or even sleep. It's something deeper, often invisible, but always present. Purpose. Frank drifts through his days. He wakes up without a plan. Meals, TV, small tasks. The hours pass, but they don't feel lived. Without work or children to care for, he's unsure what he's here for. He feels useless sometimes, but doesn't say it out loud. And that feeling weighs on him. Research shows that lacking a sense of purpose increases the risk of depression, inflammation, heart disease, and even early death. It's not just emotional, it's physiological. The body responds to meaning like it responds to nutrition or movement. Without it, systems weaken. Eleanor, though retired, is far from done. She volunteers at the community library, helps organize local events, mentors a teenage neighbor, and still writes letters to her congresswoman. She wakes up each morning with a reason to move, to think, to give. Her sense of purpose acts like a compass, orienting her, stabilizing her, keeping her engaged with life. And science supports her lifestyle. A study from the University of Michigan found that people over 65 who report a strong sense of purpose have significantly lower mortality rates. Their bodies heal faster, their minds stay sharper, their lives, quite literally, last longer. Frank often says he's just trying to make it through the day. Eleanor, on the other hand, lives as if every day still matters, because to her, it does. And that belief has a measurable impact on her health. Purpose doesn't have to mean grand ambitions. It can mean helping a neighbor, learning a new skill, or simply being present for the people you love. Without it, time becomes weight. With it, time becomes fuel. Let me share the seventh reason why many fail to maintain good health. It's not the big, obvious crises that do the most damage. It's the constant, low-level stress, the kind that simmers beneath the surface, unspoken, unprocessed, and quietly corrosive. Frank carries it silently, worries about money, regrets about the past, fear of getting sick, guilt over growing distant from his children. He doesn't talk about it, doesn't journal, doesn't meditate. He tells himself he's fine. But his body knows the truth. That inner tension shows up in his blood pressure, his heart rate, his digestion, his sleep, and even in his skin. Stress hormones, especially cortisol, flood his system daily. Over time, they wear down his immune response, disrupt brain chemistry, and inflame tissues. Chronic stress accelerates telomere shortening, a key marker of biological aging. Eleanor has stress too. Her husband passed away 8 years ago. She's had health scares. She worries about the world, her grandkids, her community. But she doesn't bottle it up. Instead, she processes it. She talks to friends, writes in a journal, practices breathing techniques before bed. She walks when she's anxious, prays when she feels lost, and rests when she feels overwhelmed. These rituals don't erase her problems, but they transform how her body carries them. And the difference is clear. Eleanor's face is soft, her movements relaxed. Her doctor is always amazed at how stable her blood work remains. Her nervous system has learned to shift out of fight or flight and into recovery. Science supports her approach. Studies from UCLA and Harvard show that emotional regulation and stress reduction practices can preserve brain volume, lower inflammation, and protect against age-related disease. Frank is aging in survival mode. Eleanor is aging in repair mode. And over time, The gap between those two states becomes a chasm, visible in every part of their lives. Now that we've walked through the quiet forces shaping the way we age, one truth becomes clear. Aging is not just about time passing. It's about how we live while time passes. We've seen it through Frank, how small habits, left unchecked, begin to erode the foundation of health, how stillness becomes stiffness, how silence becomes loneliness, how convenience becomes damage, and how stress, buried deep, becomes visible in every breath, every step, every thought. But we've also seen Eleanor, a living reminder that aging doesn't have to mean decline, that joy, vitality, and purpose can grow stronger even as the years go by, that it's possible to stay mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, physically active, and deeply connected. Their stories are not extremes. They're reflections of the choices we all face. Eleanor is not a superhero. She just decided that aging well was worth the effort. She chose to keep moving, to keep learning, to keep loving, and to keep showing up for her life, even when it wasn't easy. Especially when it wasn't easy. Frank didn't choose to age poorly. He just didn't know where the path was leading. And that's the reality for many people. Not a lack of desire for health, but a lack of direction. The difference between aging and thriving is not found in big dramatic changes. It's found in the daily decisions, what you eat, how you move, who you connect with, how you rest, and why you wake up in the morning. You are not too old. It is not too late. Your body is listening. Your mind is still adapting. Your spirit is still capable of change. Longevity isn't about avoiding death. It's about honoring life, fully, boldly, and with intention. So what now? Take a breath, reflect, and choose. Because the next chapter of your life can be shaped by awareness, guided by wisdom, and filled with the kind of vitality that makes people ask, "What's your secret?" But it's not a secret. It's a series of small, powerful choices, and they start today. If this message resonated with you, comment below. Share your thoughts. Let your voice be heard. And if you found value here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and hit the bell so you never miss a chance to take your health and your future into your own hands. Let's grow stronger, wiser, and more alive together.